Hey, pro wrestling fans and fans worldwide, this is Sam Houston, and I am Mike Messier. Sam, thanks for coming out to meet me today, buddy.
You're welcome, brother.
It's a pleasure to meet you. You know, I remember as a kid, for those that you should know, but if you don't, Sam Houston, former Central States wrestling champion. He was the Mid-Atlantic champion, had a great match against Crusher Khrushchev at Starrcade 85. He pinned superstar Billy Graham at the first Great American Bash in a six-man tag. Eventually, you went over to WWF, and you had a feud with Danny Davis that a lot of people remember. One time, we're listed as the #1 contender for the Intercontinental title.
Wrestled for that at WrestleMania 5.
Yeah. How did that go?
It's not real good. I didn't think I'd take the belt home. Yeah.
But you've just had a great wrestling career, and you've tell us. And your father, your family is a well-known wrestling family. Grizzly Smith, Jake the Snake Roberts. You were married to Baby Doll for a while. But Sam, how and Rockin' Robin, your sister, former WWF Women's Champion.
Don't forget Samantha Starr, my daughter, my youngest daughter. She's wrestling now. So, yeah, it's a family business. You know, a lot of people talk to me and they ask me, well, you know, how long have you been in the business or how long have you been a wrestler or whatever. Well, I've been actually in the ring wrestling since 1983. But I've been in the business all my life. I started in it. My dad was a main eventer everywhere we went. We'd go to a different territory every 3 or 4 months. By the time I was 7 years old to start school, I'd lived in 21 different places in the country. We'd be in Los Angeles 1 minute, Charlotte, North Carolina the next, back down to Texas, back up to Oregon. We were all over the country back then. And it's the only life I've really known. You know, it's the only life I'm comfortable with. It's the only life I've known is why. You know, I make friends easy. I enjoy people. Since I got sober, I've been sober 11 years now, y'all. But since I got sober, I seem to be enjoying a whole lot more and finding out who I am inside and what I like to do. And I like to help people. You know, I like to help them as much as I can. Our job on this earth is to be out there and be with our brothers and sisters and to lend a hand, you know, to give that blessing and whatever blessings I can bestow on anybody I want to, you know, because it makes their burden a little bit easier. Yesterday, I went to Tampa. I mean, I had places to be and stuff like that, but a fella had reached my manager and he wanted to call me, or wanted me to call him. He was a disabled veteran and he was dying. And so I told my manager to get his address. My manager did, and I showed up at his house yesterday. And we visited for a while, you know. And it was a good visit and did a lot for him. And you know, and it was really cool. I didn't know they were having a Legends luncheon like yesterday in Tampa. But they did. I went to the Legends luncheon. I saw Haku, Joe Gomez, a lot of the great guys that I'd grown up with. Steve Kern. Steve Kern was telling one story about Haku, and he goes, "Wait, I got a better Sam Houston story I'm going to tell you." You know, so it was really nice. They made me champion for the day. They gave me the walking tall Buford Pusser stick.
Nice.
And the whole 9 yards. And what was really good about the whole thing was, and I didn't know, and thank you, Lord, because he's the one that put me there. Barbara Goodish is a very good friend of mine. I met her at the CACs a few years ago. That's Frank Goodish's wife,
Bruiser Brody,
just to let y'all know. She's a very dear person. Well, when I first got out of prison, I made it to the CACs. A lot of people, they took me in. You know, and me feeling as a convicted convict and everything else. And my only crime, my crime wasn't against anybody other than myself. I was an alcoholic and it was a DUI. But I did my prison time, and I've come out the other side, and I've come out the other side a better person. But Barbara was there, and she said, "Why are you here?" I said, "My dad started Frank out. My dad was the one that put Frank and Stan together and tagged them up." And everything, and I told her, I said I couldn't miss this for the world because she's such a special person to me. And I was so glad to be there. It was a blessing that I didn't know, you know. So it was just an awesome experience. And then I got to go to Orlando and see some friends of mine from the church. I went through a ministry class there, and I've been approved for a ministry with Assemblies of God churches.
Congratulations.
I've done a whole lot of studying in my time. You know, when I was in prison, that was a long time, y'all. And you got two choices when you're in a place like that. You can either just lay out and wait your time out, or you can do something to better yourself. Well, I used every minute, every day to better myself. I got really deep into the Word, into studying the Word. I earned 3 college credits through the American Bible Academy.
Nice.
I did a whole lot of study. I've done a lot. And because the most important thing is in life, and I believe this with all my heart, the most important thing we can do as a people is to be there for our brothers and sisters. And the greatest thing I can do for anybody out there is to tell you that our Creator, Yahweh, people call it, He's the great I am, you know. But He's offered us everlasting life, and the best way I can do anything for anybody is to make sure you're saved. And if you want to get saved, talk to me. I'll explain to you about how to do it, you know. And it's the best thing I could do for anybody, is give them lead them the way to the everlasting life, lead them to their Creator. You know, you need to have a one-on-one relationship. So that's how I feel.
I like what you said, that when you're serving time, it's like either you can serve the time, but also have the time serve you, instead of just, you know, wasting it or waiting for that to get out.
Oh,
you're doing productive stuff.
I could not stand being in a cage, and oh gosh, it killed me. I'd volunteer to go work. I worked in one place. I volunteered to go out and work in the fields every day in the garden they had. But we weren't getting a lot of vegetables and stuff like that, so through the commissary I was able to get me a little salt shaker, and I love cherry tomatoes.
Right.
So I get on that cherry tomato, and I'd be eating as much as, you know, as I'm picking. So, but it was good. I mean, when you are in a place like that, there are things that you can do to not get anything illegal. Of course, you can get anything you want in there anyway.
Right.
You got enough money. There was one camp I was in, you could have got a 22,
wow,
a pistol, for $150.
Jeez.
Yeah, the ammunition was something different.
I mean, that's cheaper than at Walmart.
Yeah. But you know, I've been through a lot, Mike.
Yeah.
I really have. And I've come out the other side, and I hope that, you know, and a lot of people say too that I've come out a better person. And I believe I have. I like the person that I see in the mirror now,
Right,
in the mornings. And the good thing is I can remember everything, you know. I mean, I was a bad alcoholic for a lot of years. I would drink anywhere from 1 to 3 fists a day, almost every day for 19 years.
right.
But that's behind me now. You know, I made my decision. I went to hang myself in prison after 2 days. They were telling me I was going to be there for the rest of my life, and I was with the worst of the worst of the worst. It was murderers, rapists, pedophiles. I had my hands around one guy's neck, and it took six guards to beat me off him with their sticks because he was a pedophile, and he was telling my cellmate what he did to a 10-year-old girl, and I lost it. He was going to breathe no more.
Right.
I had my hands on his throat. I've been through a lot, but you know, each scar you get, each cut, each bruise, whatever, you know, they add character to your personality and to your life. You know, my scars tell a story, and so do I.
Well, and that's for those that are watching this interview that may be able to help us. Sam and I are kind of getting together, and if you don't mind me saying, sitting there with a computer to write some of your stories, or many of them, as many as we can, and starting with a pilot script. You know, basically our feeling was that TV pilot script would be a great starting point for a collaboration. So if there's anyone out there in the entertainment industry that is watching this, that's intrigued by Sam's stories, what we're going to do is we're going to write like